snowing, but the snow thrower won't start. The engine stopped running. I replaced the fuel line and fuel filter. That fixed the problem. Then I was looking at another problem with the engine running and it just cut out, and I haven't been able to restart it since. So I think work down from the petrol tank. So line, filter, done. I think I'm going to risk taking the carburetor apart and cleaning it. What's the worst that could happen? Don't answer that. Yeah, so I've managed to remove the carburetor. You'll notice the fuel line is so tight, I had to just cut it. But then, look what's not coming out of the fuel. Oh, there is. Okay, there is fuel. That's good. Actually, no, what you just saw come out was kind of residual in the pipe. So to me, before we do anything else, let's just double check the fuel supply. Yeah, that's odd. So the tap is where it should be. Fuel cock, I think that's called. And then we're pointing directly downwards from the fuel tank. We know that there's fuel in the tank and nothing's coming out. I can see fuel in the fuel filter, so that kind of leaves me wondering, is the fuel filter blocked? So let's just remove it. That's definitely what the problem is. But that's no big deal, I can get a new fuel filter. It's kind of weird because I did just replace it, but it's obviously doing its job, so that's good. There's probably some old crap in the fuel tank that's got in there and blocked the filter, but at least it stopped it getting into the engine, so that's good. So that leaves me asking a question, should I clean the carb or not? It was working. I'm a big believer if it's not broken, don't fix it. So let's go directly against that and fix it anyway. Let's have a look at this carb. So yeah, I'm completely new to this. I had to Google and explain a video for a carburetor today. They're actually pretty genius. I'm guessing from the shape of it, where my thumb is right now, that's where the float goes. I'll undo these screws and have a look inside. But before we do that, clean up the outside so we don't introduce any crap into the inside. Let's just do that. I'll spray it with carb cleaner and get a rag on it. Yeah, so one thing I did notice at the throttle end, I removed this pipey thing, and look, this is exactly how I found it. The seal gaskety thing where my thumb rests is not centered properly at all, so it covers up a load of this hole. You know, that can't be very good, can it? But anyway, let's just leave that as is. You can probably order that off Briggs & Stratton. But the throttle mechanism moves perfectly freely, so that's kind of nice. Yeah, it's really hard to describe this, but I removed the 3 screws. I'm holding a camera in one hand and hold this in the other. But it's not easy to separate this and that. They will a bit, but not fully. And I really don't want to force anything. And knowing how intricate carburetors are, after Googling them today, I'm thinking, you know, good enough. Let's just leave alone for now and replace that fuel filter. Before I do that though, let me show you what I'm talking about. So there's said carb. can see it moves. But it just doesn't want to separate, so let's just leave it for now. I don't want to further damage, disturb any already shaky seal. Plus it wasn't broken, so we can always come back to it, but that is bugging me. That's wrong. So I'll look on the website and replace that in due course. Okay, there it is, back together. We'll remove this old piece of fuel line now. That's good. And yeah, reattached to the engine. Now I'm here. I know I keep going off on tangents, but there's this pipe thing here. There's some slight oil residue underneath it. It's just got an open end where my finger is. That's behind the carb, so it's probably a good job I removed it so I can see that. Does anybody know what that is? What purpose does that guy serve? So we'll just screw this back to the engine and double check that throttle linkage. Yeah, so that's all on. You pull this rod up to apply maximum throttle. When I pull this up, I expect the spring to point up. So let's try that. Up, good. And then down, good. Okay, maximum, minimum. That all looks good. I'll just put the fairing back on now. Okay, yeah, so to summarise then, the fuel filter does need replacing. If I'm honest, I probably didn't have to remove the carburettor. However, it was good to know about that dodgy seal we found. Yeah, so in the end I bought a backup fuel filter, a new one and another one. They're only $4 from Canadian Tire. Let's fit that and see what happens. Okay, new fuel filter is fitted. So that's kind of interesting. It's about a month later, or a bit less. Anyway, I ran the engine, no problem. And look, I've got the same fuel supply issue, so no fuel coming through the fuel filter. So I've got my backup fuel filter, and I suspect that'll fix the problem. So yeah, it has to be that there's some crap in this old petrol tank, but the thing is, it's all original, and I like said petrol tank. What do you suggest? Some like sea foam or something? Let's put it through there. I don't know. And yeah, let's just try and see if we can find out where the oil's coming from, or some of it. So in the last edit, you could see at the bottom of the crankcase, we could see some drips of oil. So look, at the top of the crankcase here, I've noticed some oil. So I'm wondering if this needs tightening a bit, and I'm wondering if it's coming out the top and dripping down. I don't know. Yeah, I don't have the right spanner for that, and I'm ill. I'm feeling a bit ill today, so I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to go back to bed, but I reckon that needs tightening. And while I'm here, one more thing, I can hear this ticking noise. I know this is leaking a bit of oil, but it's minor, and I did fill it up. The engine's got oil in it. Well, listen to this, hang on.
don't sound great. Anyway, let me know your thoughts in the comments and that, and yeah, cheers.